In a way, we have Russia to thank.
Congratulations on your anniversary, Mark. It's been 20 years since you came out publicly. And when you did that, that made you Canada's first openly gay Olympic athlete. Does that title feel different now than it did back in 1998?
Yeah, back in 1998, the word gay in the same sentence as my name was always made me kind of because it was so personal and private and new for the world to even talk about things like that. So yeah, we've come a long way. I don't even think of gay as one of my describers anymore, but of course, descriptors, but of course it is.
Looking at what's happened in the past 20 years is unbelievable. The COC added sexual orientation to its non-discrimination policies. The IOC did the same with its Olympic charter. If you had won your Olympic gold in Rio 2016 versus Barcelona 92, how do you think that experience would be different?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I would for sure be an openly gay Olympic champion.
Wow.
I'm sure of it in today's world. Because I think I would have had time to reconcile it within myself. You know, the hard part about not coming out when I won was I hadn't been gay yet. I'd been this silo part of my life over here that I was going to deal with after the Olympics. So I think I would be an integrated human being, and at 24 years old, I'd be able to say, yeah, and I'm here. I'll probably be with my partner or express itself in a really natural way. But that was not the case in 1992.
It's one thing to talk about how it would have felt as a human, but do you think it would have made a difference in your performance as an athlete?
No, because I'd found a way to tap into that. I'd found a coach and an outlet and felt like I really had my personal integrity at the Olympics because I was finally honest about who I was with a coach. And through that integrity, I just got my power back. And that's part of why I had such a great performance in Barcelona.
So in coming out to your coach, you were able to be yourself, and then it was the next step to come out to everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have a safe space here in my training ground, but then to actually put myself out there in the world, knowing that there's lots of places that I can't control and they're not going to be accepting no matter how much I want them to be. So it's very different. It was coming out in a controlled environment with somebody I knew I could trust to throwing it out there to the world and not knowing actually what the day after would look like.
Did you have to get to know yourself again as Mark, but also as an athlete after you came out publicly?
The tape of I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay didn't stop when I came out. It took time. And over time, things have changed, and now that tape doesn't exist anymore. And you talked earlier about the changes we've seen. I mean, there's been some great change, but I have to say, I wasn't very proud that it took 16 years after I came out in 1998 for Sochi to happen till we finally had a tipping point. And so in a way, we have Russia to thank for their horrible, horrible laws against LGBTQ people. But that became, I guess, the point where people said, A, we've got to protect our athletes, we've got to change our charters, we've got to look at this more seriously, and for athletes themselves to declare they're members of the LGBTQ community to say, it is important that we're seen because of what's been happening.
And having said that, when you look at athletes like Eric Radford or Gus Kentworthy, Adam Rippon, what do you see in the way they're celebrated and in the way they're received?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, the fact that Adam Rippon was the biggest star of Pyeongchang, and I think back in my day, like even the biggest athletic stars, if there was a hint of sexuality or gay, your career was done. So like Greg Louganis, 2 Olympic gold, and then back to back, 2 more Olympic gold in '84 and '88. And he didn't have anywhere near the career someone like Adam Rippon is getting, but his personality was the star of the games, and that's a huge change.